body weight, gone from the stress on the brain. Lost in the void of space, what does it really take to stay sane and maintain stability? Is this really me floating in the maze haze of what will I, could I, who should I be? Am I destined to weep and cry my life away for all the wrong mistakes I made and take the blame? Damn, this shit is so insane. Just wanna flow free like a river into the ocean, not headed what for the fucking drain. Life caught up in disarray, system malfunctioning, made days instead of paydays. Red light blinking, thinking where's the green? Hoping this is a dream, it only seems to be a nightmare. Scared, pure fear of the unknown. Where's here? Do you know what I mean? Journeys through the galaxies at light speed. Please just catch me.
Heart always crying, but my heart won't stay silent. Sky is the limit, but after that I'm not finished. Heart always crying, but my heart won't stay
ready for liftoff, like a hooper when it's tip off. Yeah, I'm ready to score, ready for war. Polishing my falcon like the son of Allah. Creating rain, hail, and earthquakes, the God in the flesh. And they say God makes no mistakes. From natural disaster to calm and laughter, I'm balancing the scales like a yin-yang master. Emotional intelligence is energy intelligence. The wise use the mind to align with the elements. Health is a benefit. Treat the body like a temple. They creating glow.
Heart always crying, but my heart won't stay silent. Sky is the limit, but after that I'm not finished. Heart always crying, but my heart won't stay silent. Sky is the limit, but after that I'm not finished. Heart always crying, but my heart won't stay silent. Sky is the limit, but after that I'm not finished. Heart always crying, but my heart won't stay silent. Sky is the limit, but after that I'm not finished.
Peace, power, and prosperity, everyone. What's going on? What's going on? Without further ado, I'm not going to take up too much of your time. This has only got one guest today, one half of the Zodiac Queen. I have the wonderful, the illustrious, the intelligent, and the beautiful Divine Feminine Works.
Hello.
Welcome back.
Peace, everybody. How you doing? How you doing?
Yes. Thanks for stopping through, Mel. Gracing us with your presence. Yeah. It's an interesting time, Mel. You know, I know we're gonna get to this full moon in Leo, but
before you get into it, I'm hearing like feedback.
Go ahead. Really? I don't hear anything. Let me turn this off. Hold up.
All right.
I think y'all hear anything in the crowd? Yeah, I had YouTube. I had YouTube on my other TV, so it might have been jamming. It might be jamming. So that's probably what it was. All right. Is it better now? You do? Let me see something. My generator's not on. Hold on. Let me close some of these windows.
I think it's good now.
All right. Yeah, I had a frequency generator on, so that could have been it.
Oh, okay.
I didn't realize I still had it on. Okay. It's better now?
Yep. All good.
Excellent. All right. So, yeah, what I wanted to talk about, Mel, real quick, is I wanted to talk about this Arctic chill that we have going on right now, where it's like freezing everywhere. You know, these Tesla cars, they're, there's a big thing with the Teslas not working, and people got these cars and they're not generating. What do you think about this particular time period? You know, I've followed the solar flare activities, and it's been like very, very quiet on the front of the sun. You know, there's no sunspots really hitting the earth. It's been very dry the last 7 or 8 days. What do you think is going on? What's your insight? I have a theory.
Well, it is winter, so I feel like with a lack of solar activity, it's really just more of nature's way of telling us that it is really time to hibernate. Like that freeze is like literally freeze, especially with everything that's about to happen. It's like you really need to just stop what you're doing, because shit is about to shift real soon. So spiritually, esoterically, I think that's what's going on.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's really telling us to like go within, stay in. You can't, when it's cold like this, certain states you can't really move. There's a lot. It's going to snow here in New York tomorrow again. There's a lot of
Mhm.
activity, that's just being slowed down where you just can't move around the way you used to. So I think, like you said, now is like the time for you to really be, yeah, Junkyard Jedi. He said it like
Mhm.
pausing to prepare,
Exactly.
yeah, getting ready, getting ready, doing your studies, doing your reading, uh, meditation, things that cause you to go within self and find yourself for real,
Mhm.
because you don't really find yourself. I remember Shannon Sharp said this, and I agree with him. He said you don't really find yourself, you create yourself. You know, and I
Mhm.
think that's very profound. That we really gotta, like I say, mine the gold in your soul, so to speak. And it is a process that is a heavy process, just like lifting a shovel to mine gold. And you got to uncover and go through a lot of coal, and go through a lot of dirt and grime before you get to that gold. So right now, I
It
think
is
with this,
so interesting that you say that because I literally just recorded a video today on this Pluto transit that we're about to experience. And I talked about mining and how Pluto is
mm,
all about unearthing and uncovering everything, and how it's also where you lay people to rest, right? Like when people die and they're buried
mm,
underground for the most part, depending on where you are. But it's also about discovering things that are underground, like diamond mines and stuff
right,
like that. And so I feel like that Arctic freeze is like, all right, stop. Like you said, go within and start. The phrase I've been saying for a good 15 years is mining your life. Like mining your life for
mm,
the gems, for the lessons, for the advice, for the knowledge that's already within you. So I feel like this is a time when we're sort of being forced to do that. Most
right,
definitely.
yeah. I definitely agree. I definitely agree. So yeah, there's a lot of I want to talk about uh before we get into the full moon, there's a lot of like Aquarian Pluto influences that I was reading about. I know you just touched on it. So go into a little bit of these different influences that we're gonna feel before this full moon or around this time.
So the major thing, and this is quite possibly one of the most dynamic and important days of the year, is going to be Saturday, January 20th, or Sunday, January 21st, depending on where you live. The Sun and Pluto are going to be conjunct. They're going to conjunct at the 29th degree of Capricorn, and then they're going to move together into Aquarius. And
Mm,
this is like as an astrologer, this is sort of a once in a lifetime thing. And it's
mm,
complete transformation. It's transformation in how we communicate. It's transforming the collective, not only the collective in terms of humanity, but most importantly, the collective consciousness. We've
mm,
started to see this already. So this conjunction is really just being activated. It's like Pluto is being activated into Aquarius, but we sort of had a preview of this energy back in 2023 between March and June. At that time, Pluto dipped into Aquarius real quick. So we kind of got a preview as to what the next 20 years is going to be like. But it's in this year, 2024, that Pluto is really going to move into Aquarius and stay there. And this Pluto Aquarius transit kicks off this weekend with this Sun conjunct Pluto. So it's a new cycle, it's endings and beginnings simultaneously. And most importantly, it's a breakdown of society. It's a breakdown of the structures. We've been seeing this for years, right? Especially because the United States is still in the midst of its Pluto return. So everything that was once buried is now being unearthed. And we're getting more access to information. We're getting more access to things that may have only been, accessible to the top percent of the population. And so now it's like we're putting the power in the hands of the people. And we're doing that by changing the collective consciousness. And all of this is starting right now.
yeah, I was watching something with Elon Musk. He was saying that the great wealth transfer is taking place, and if you are aware and seeing, he was talking about quantum AI and generative AI, that if you are looking at the future, like there's going to be a big wealth transfer for people who are able to see and invest in these new technologies that are happening. I've been seeing a lot of things on Instagram, like where they have these dresses that you touch and all the colors go. You could touch your dress and it'll go black, white, whatever color. You have it multicolored. Like, there's a lot of new technologies that are coming to into play, and we really got to realize that I think a lot of the old excuses, Pluto is a planet of transformation and change and depth, you know. And as a Scorpio, one of our ruling planets is also Pluto. So, we also suffer a lot of different debts in our lives and different times of transformation. But it is the time for those of us, who are fixed signs, the Plutos, the Scorpios, the Leos, forget, I think Aries. You might be able to correct me on that. But the fixed signs is really the time for us, not only us to like change and transform, but for people that are fixed in their lives, not just the signs, but people that are really fixed in their character or their way of being. Like I posted on Facebook, this is the year you got to change something. You got to change or adjust something, or you're going to be left behind.
Right.
Whatever happened in 19 and beyond, if you're still on that, if you're still on 2020 or even 2023, you're still on these programs, you're going to be left behind. And you're going to be going through, being that we're in this 8 cycle Saturn type of year of change and transformation. Even the wood dragon energy of the Chinese astrology of us changing and transforming, if we don't really get a grasp of what that means for us, and like you said, really go into this time period of hibernation and tap into this energy. I didn't know about this 20th thing since you just said it, but I remember I think you talked about that in one of your videos about how important it is for us to look at that particular date. So yeah, I think that's very, very interesting. Also, let's go into a little bit of the new moon, the full moon energy in Leo. I thought it was interesting. It adds up to 125, 2024. If you add those numbers up in numerology, it adds up to 16, and 6 plus 1 is 7. But also the day, the 25th, when the full moon in Leo occurs, is also the 25. So that's a 7 as well. So you have two sevens on that day, creating a portal. You know, did you notice that or see anything like that when you were looking into this?
No, I didn't notice that until you just mentioned it. But yeah, that's pretty profound, because 7 is, just think of the energy of 2023 and how that was, and how spiritual it was, how enlightening it was, for better or for worse. And so now it's like we have that energy sort of condensed into one day with this full moon in Leo. So, but more interestingly enough is that the full moon is actually going to be opposite Pluto in Aquarius.
Mm,
So Pluto just having gone into Aquarius at that point is going to be directly opposite the full moon. So change is here, and you're going to become very aware of what needs changing, and perhaps where you need to have the courage to change, because Leo is all about courage, it's all about heart, it's all about being heart centered. And so many of us are going to, it's going to be like a neon sign in your face, like, listen, this is what's changing. Or perhaps it's going to show you how you've changed
mm,
and how what engaging with. So it's going to be a very enlightening full moon. But with that 7 numerology plus the opposition to Pluto, I feel like this is really going to spark or trigger a different level of spiritual awakening, a different level of spiritual work that many of us are going to have to do. So it might be kind of a jarring time where you're like, oh, damn, I got to work on this still. And with that Leo energy and it having to do with the heart, of course, it has to do with relationships to a
of
certain
course.
extent.
Yeah.
So people are
That's
going
my
to be
next
like, damn,
question.
it's like,
Go
damn, I
ahead,
thought
bro.
I got
Yeah.
over this.
Yeah. Right.
Or damn, this shit coming back around again. Like, right. But also understand that if you're on this path, you're merely observing it now. You're not in it. At least, hopefully, at least you don't drag yourself. Hopefully, you don't drag yourself back into it. But you can see
Right.
your elevation, because now you're not in it, you're looking at it. And depending on how much work you've done, you're either looking at it linearly, you're looking at it from the top down, like your vantage point about this particular situation that may be presenting itself may be totally different now that you've done some work and now that you've really healed yourself,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I was thinking about that, relationships and how, not just romantic, like, and intimate relationships. That's an aspect of it too. And I also think like just relationships in general, that we have with people in our lives when it comes to either in family, friends, associates, shit, your landlord, right? People in the grocery store, like, what type of energy are you? These things are going to show you how you've grown, right? And expect triggers, to happen over these next couple of days. Expect you to be triggered and to be shown your true spiritual elevation. And I always, one of the things, I don't always, one of the things I want to say is that you'll know who you are by how you cope with your triggers, right? What you
Okay.
resort to when you go through hard times, what you resort through to when you go through struggles. Do you tap into the God within? Are you tapped into your spiritual tools and your means to, like, are you using tarot to make decisions? Do you have a pendulum, right? And using your pendulum and, these different spiritual tools that are all over the internet to kind of go deep. Are you in some sort of, meditation, yoga, some type of thing that is going to stir your kundalini energy, so to speak, and raise your vibration? Are you consuming positive information on a daily basis, right? And most importantly, not just consuming, but are you living the lifestyle? And that's what's going to show you this particular next couple weeks, like your heart. And it's for some people, I know for me, it's been starting already. You know what I'm saying? People have been triggered, be like, it's crazy. But I realize now, because I'm, and just humbly speaking, like, I know that I'm raising my vibe. I'm seeing things happen. I know it's because I'm raising my vibration to a certain frequency. So because my vibration is being raised, there's certain things that new levels, new devils, right? So you just got to prepare yourself for that. And the best way to do that is to have a spiritual practice. And spiritual has the word ritual in it, right?
Mhm.
Ritual is in the word spiritual. So if you have daily rituals, you'll always maintain a good vibration. Like, a lot of times we have a lot of anxiety and stuff, and that takes away from the heart space as well. So I think with this transforming energy and this Aquarian energy, like you were saying, where it's opposite this particular full moon, it's really going to show up in people. It's really going to show up in, people's hearts, and most importantly, your heart. How do you interact with these things? How do you respond to these things? And how do you cope, most of all? Because emotional intelligence, like I just said in the song, is energy intelligence. And most of spirituality is really about managing these emotions. Um, Anything you
Yep.
want to add on,
Nope. That sounds good.
Mel? So, Leo, uh, um, so let's talk about let's go into, it's also a wolf moon, right? What any insight into the wolf moon and why it's a wolf moon and what that looks like?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you. I have no idea about that. I don't know why it's called a wolf moon. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, it's
I know
probably
the
something
astrology.
about it.
I don't know the huh? What'd you say?
Yeah. No, I said the only reason I picked that, doing my research on this, I'm like, okay, the only thing that would make sense to me is probably, during indigenous times before there was technology and stuff, we lived in these areas that there would be a lot of howling to the moon during these periods, for wolves. So they called it that. But I would say, we all have different, if you look at the zodiac, right? There's all different animals, right? Except like Virgo, but everybody else in Aquarius, but everybody else is an animal. So, the wolf in us would be, also how we communicate, right, towards people and how we express ourselves, our inner conversation, which also taps into that Leo aspect, speaking things
Mm.
into the existence, right? In the beginning was the word was with God, the word was God. Also magic, right? Your spells, doing mirror work, speaking to yourself, having affirmations. Like, I was listening to I don't know, I've been tapped into some early Killer Cam music, right? And he has this song called Get 'em Daddy, right? So that's been like my affirmation before I go to the gym, And the first verse, he's like, I look in the mirror and tell myself how fly I am, He said every morning I look in the mirror and tell myself how fly I am. And it's like, yeah, like when you're talking about Leo energy and you're talking about the heart, you're also talking about Heru. You're talking about Horus. So you're talking about that winged falcon that is taking flight. But how do you take flight? It's your will. What you choose, your freedom of will. And a lot of times, we get it twisted from Christianity to think free will is like, okay, I'm choosing to serve God or I'm choosing to serve devil. Like, no, it's deeper than just serving, or not serving some imaginary things. It's how you actually live and your actual lifestyle. So, as being that wolf, what are you really speaking about? Are you talking down on people every day? Do you have all these criticisms and, you're super active in the shade room and you always got a negative comment to post? What is it that you're really putting out? What is your free will for real, right? Is your free will on a higher frequency? Is your free will on a higher vibration? And this doesn't mean that, you're corny and you can't crack jokes or whatever, but are these really lighthearted jokes? Or are you really like emotionally involved and want to tear somebody down? And, some people get a kick. That wolf in them gets a kick from tearing people down. It's not just a howling at the moon for moon's sake. It's a howling like, yeah, I'm gonna feel good because I tore this, I ate, he ate, he tore this mother, she ate, she tore this motherfucker down. And really, that's a different side of the force, so to speak. So that free will, that Heru energy is also tied in. So I thought that was interesting. Mel, give us your take
Mhm.
on the full moon overall, full moon in Leo. What you got for us?
So it's going down at 5 degrees of Leo. So 5 is the number of change, as if we're not having change enough already, right? And because it's going to be opposite to Pluto in Aquarius, it's almost like earth shattering change, but also a change of heart as well. So a lot of us are going to be seeing certain things being unearthed with Pluto moving into Aquarius, and many of us may have a change of heart. It may require us to be very courageous. It may be a situation where people have to step up as the person who they truly are, right? Because one thing about Leo energy is that anything from the heart is authentic. So this isn't just showing up with a facade of, yes, I'm royal. It's really stepping into your royalty, into your divinity by being authentic. And I have a feeling that this full moon is really going to bring out the people who have not been authentic. I feel like everyone's going to be exposed. People are going to be put on Front Street. I mean, we already see it happening, but
Yeah.
it's almost like, understand that this Pluto transit, it's a slow burn. Pluto was in Capricorn for 15 years and it's about to be in Aquarius for 20. So this isn't transformation that happens all at once, but the transformation becomes activated when different planets hit and activate this Pluto, right? And so the first activation is going to be this full moon in Leo, which is just going to expose people. It's going to expose the people who are dressed as the emperor but are really the pauper. It's going to
Mm,
expose the people who are yet have the smallest self-confidence. It's going to expose the people who like to be the main character but don't even think highly enough of themselves to be the main character on the inside, right? It's just exposition, and it's going to shake some people down to their very essence. And I don't say that to fearmonger. I don't say that to get people scared, but you should understand that in these times, if you are not moving authentically, if you're not moving with integrity, but most importantly, if you're not moving from your heart, it's going to get real uncomfortable for you. And the first pass of this uncomfortability is going to be this full moon in Leo. So it's going to be very interesting to see what transpires.
yeah, yeah. And I think also with it being, again back to the 8 year, the year of karma, karma is really consequences, it's
Right.
cause and effect. So it's like, what you put out there is what you will reflect, right? What consequences you will bear based on what you put out. It's not a punishment. Like if you had a bad baby mama or a bad baby daddy, or you're in a bad relationship, well, you got to realize you chose that motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Like that was your choice. You made that decision. Something now. Of course, there's unforeseen, as it says in the Bible, there's unforeseen occurrences befall us all. There's things that's going to happen. A lot of times people suffer from anxiety because they're trying to control life. And life is out of our control. There's things that's going to happen to us. Now, you could either use those things and see them as things that are going to propel you forward or lessons that you need to learn, right? Or things that are just going to change your life. Or you could see them as burdens and you could rest in that. And you could say, oh, this is karma that's happening to me. Or do you want karma to happen to someone else, right? This is also part of the heart chakra, right? You had a bad relationship, you're in a bad relationship, and now you want this person to burn, but you were just in love with them 6 7 months ago, right? So instead of wanting to burn, why don't you want them to grow, right? Why don't you want them to be better? Why don't you wish them well on their path so you could be wished well? That's part of the heart space. What energy are you putting out? Consequences, right? And we don't really want to, in our human mind, right, we don't really want to look at it that way because this person hurt us, this person tore us down, right, this situation, you know, wrecked our lives in some way, right? They stole our credit cards, they ran through the bank account, we spent money on them, right? I gave up this good coochie, right? And this is how he gonna do me, girl. Not me, girl. You crazy? Not this good coochie.
I can't with you today.
Not this good one, girl. You crazy? You know, and same thing with men. Nah, she ain't gonna do me like that. Nah, she gonna burn for that. You know what I'm saying? But you chose them. So what was it in you? You know, what was it in you? Because build and destroys, like karma is again consequences. What was it in you that attracted that person? What was it in you that made that person comfortable? Even if you dealt with a narcissist, right, which is a popular term on the internet nowadays,
Ugh.
narcissists attack the weak. They attack a weakness in you and feed off that weakness within you. It's really that simple. And we don't want to look at it like that. But there's an aspect of us that they saw in us where they could love bomb us, because that's usually step one. And we didn't have enough love in ourselves, right? And they were making us feel if we had enough love, then that wouldn't even happen, right? So there's a vampiric effect, right? But you got to let any vampire story, you got to let the vampire in, right? They can't come in without you inviting them in. They have to get your permission. So the whole goal, I think, during this time and where it's just super cold and you can't even move the way you want to move is really for us to, look at these things that are influencing us, look at really take a deep dive and, I always say journal out your life and see what really happened. Like look at your past relationships and see what really happened. Like don't just blame the other person. That's easy. Don't just wish the other person bad. That's easy. Because your karma is the lesson in that relationship. Your karma is the lesson of this person fucking with you. It's the lesson in that. Like what do you need to do? How can I solve this problem? That's the karma, not what's gonna happen to them. What's you, right? It all comes back to you. The solutions, the only way out is in. So it's always going to come back to you in some way, shape, or form. So with this 7, this is a really powerful. I think this is going to be a really, really powerful full moon for those who take advantage of it, especially it being the first full moon of the year and in having that Leo effect. I think it's going to be great also for business, for people that are starting new businesses, people that are starting new careers, people that are trying to activate something new, right? That Leo is all about attention, it's all about recognition, and also back to that wolf element of expressing oneself and really being bold with who you are, because everything is changing. The world needs you, right? You came here for a reason. You built out the 1 to 2 million sperm that didn't hit the egg. So you're here for a real reason, and it's up to you to discover that. But if you're piling your head and look, I love the Cat William interview, right? It was funny, it was entertaining, there was jewels in there. But at the end of the day, these celebrities and you discovering what part of secret society they are and the Epstein list and came and went, and you still worried about what's going on outside of you when the real thing is what's the real thing that the secret societies don't want you to do is discover who you are. They don't want you to have knowledge of self. That's the real agenda, right? Not if you're gonna sell your soul, right? Because selling your soul, people do that every single day by betraying who they truly are, by not expressing their truth, by not having tough conversations. That's part of Leo energy too, right? Are you having tough conversations with your family? Having tough conversations with your friends? Are you bold enough to really, really, really be you unapologetically, right? Regardless of who likes it or who doesn't like it. So I think this is going to be a really powerful full moon. Anything you want to add on, Mel?
Yeah, it's interesting that you brought up the concept of narcissism because Leo energy has a little bit of narcissistic traits to it, right? Leo
Mhm.
energy is all of that main character energy, right? It's attention seeking, it's looking at me. So for some, this whole narcissist empath thing may really play out, but understand. According to universal law, there really are no opposites. It's just identical things are different in degree. So, as much as you want to label someone as a narcissist, you are a narcissist too, just to a lesser degree. And just like you are an empath, they are too, just to a lesser degree. So, when you look at these relationships, regardless of what they are merely a reflection of you. And it is, like you said, very easy to just blame this person and be like, yo, they hurt me. I want to hurt them. I want their life to implode. They need to feel how I felt or whatever. Yeah, that's your human egotistical response. And there can be a lot of that because Leo energy is a little egotistical, right? And not no shade to Leo energy. That's just how it is. But the challenge is to go deeper, and that opposition to Pluto is doing exactly that. It's getting you to transform from the inside out. And so that takes courage. It takes courage, especially with relationships. Relationships can be such a hard area of life, especially if you've experienced a lot of loss, if you've experienced abandonment, codependency, betrayal, things like that. These are not necessarily things that you get over right away. There's active healing that needs to be done in order to move past these things. So understand that this full moon may give you that opportunity for healing. Now, it may not feel comfortable, but it's necessary because where we are going as a collective, if you are not, I don't want to say if you're not healed, because healing is not a linear thing. We're constantly healing to a certain degree. But if you on some fuck shit from 2023 and like you said before, 2023 and in the past, you ain't gonna make it, baby. You're
You
not.
ain't
You're
yeah.
gonna be really left behind. And if you think shit is hard now, it's going to be real hard for you to keep up if you are dragging all this dead weight with you. All of that shit is dead weight. All of that stuff, all of that trauma. And again, it's not to say that, oh, I worked this issue and now I'm healed. Like I said, it's not linear. It's a constant evolution, but it's an evolution nonetheless. You have to change. You have to evolve. Evolution is adaptability. And we are at a time, Pluto going into Aquarius. Aquarius is ruled by Uranus. Uranus is sudden movements, sudden changes. You got to be light on your feet, right? You can't be holding all this shit with you, dragging a ball and chain with you because you won't be able to adapt. And if you're not adapting, you're not
Come on
evolving.
now.
So do the work. Do the work. And Joe, I
Yeah.
know it's hard.
Do the work.
I know it's hard. There are times where I'm like, there's a particular ex that I'm just like, listen, if I could like torch your house, I would several times over on some Lisa Lopez type shit. Like, yeah.
Right.
However,
Yeah.
however, we're evolving from that and we're realizing that yeah, I chose this motherfucker because I had a whole bunch of unhealed shit within me, right?
Yeah.
And nothing can sting or trigger more than healing the heart. Healing the heart is difficult, right? To the point where if you have an unhealed or if you have a blocked heart chakra, you may be suffering from respiratory issues, throat issues, because the heart encompasses this whole area right here. So you have a cough that you have no idea where it came from. It's probably from a broken heart, or it's probably from some heart issues that need your attention. And trust and believe, Leo, this full moon in Leo, it's going to show it to you. It's going to show it
Yeah.
to you. And it's going to be like, evolve or nah. So what are you going to choose?
Yeah. Yeah. And the funny thing, you talked about respiratory issues and throat and all that. There's a like I don't know how do you say it, that C word that ends with Ovid, going around, right? And
Right.
because we still on YouTube, there, you know, and that particular illness is still going around and it's still affecting people in little pockets. Like I don't know about other states, but they're not talking about it in the, well, I don't watch the news, but you know, the news is pretty much for me Facebook and Instagram. So I don't see people going crazy talking about it. So, but it is, if you know somebody that's a nurse or in a hospital, they'll tell you it's up. Like it's up again. Like people are really sick out here. People, even myself, like a couple weeks ago, I had a cough. Like you guys witnessed it. Like we did the live, and at the end, I started just coughing crazy, and I started coughing crazy. I'm like, what the hell is going on? Like I don't even get sick like that, you know? But there's we are being elevated, right, in one way shape or form, or all ways shape or form, I should say. And part of you are raising your frequency is opening up different chakras. So for me, I'm like, okay, that was my throat chakra that needed to be opened up a little bit more, right? So that's why I was attacked that way. You know, I had no nose, no nothing. Yeah, like Eileen saying that's true. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not making this up. Like it's up for real, for real. So you know, one of the things I would recommend is you get you some elderberry. This is a brand I recommend. What's the name of it? My Kind Organics. Keep some of this on deck just in case you get attacked, because this works for me wonders. You know, also cleaning out my system. You know, cleaning out the junk, laxatives, and stuff like that. But it's really the time that we are being forced to raise our frequency. We are being forced to become what we need to be. And if not, you know, a lot of people are going to be out of here. You know, unfortunately, I hate to say that, but a lot of people are going to be out of here, you know, through either illness, through just not being able to cope with life itself. You know, the suicide rate is off the chart, off the charts. I was just looking at some numbers. I was like, wow, like last year was a record year for suicides, you know. Of course, this is not
Mm.
what they're talking about, you know. But what we do is, you know, I've had people inbox me on Facebook, like, you know, beautiful people, beautiful women. You'd be surprised, man. Beautiful women, you know, well-to-do men, you know, inboxing me like, yo, this post, you know, did this, or this post did that, or I appreciate you saying this about this. I've been really depressed. I've been really sad, you know, on a whole nother level, you know. And you don't think by looking at these posts, these people are sad. You don't think by looking at their posts that they're depressed. You don't think by looking at their posts that they're ready to take themselves out of here. But they are. But they are, right? So don't fall for the okey doke of what you see, and you know, be fooled with the two eyes, right? Because you don't know what somebody's really going through. We all seeing people's highlights on social media, and you know what they're putting out there. It's everybody's highlight reel, right? It's everybody's best work that they're putting out there. You never see the person saying my car got repossessed, or you know, they done for my home is, you know, they done took my home, and my me and my kids are homeless. But they'll tell you don't go 50-50 with a man. But I tell you what, if they got that 50 from that man, maybe they wouldn't have been homeless. I'm not saying that's what you have to do, right? People that have been with me know I don't do 50-50. But maybe if you're in a certain situation, maybe you need to find a decent brother or a decent sister and do that 50-50 move just so you can survive in 2024. Take it for what you will, right? But it's that type of time to where we got to use our free will and be wise. And the only way we could gain wisdom is through the experience of us visualizing, reaffirming, and activating who we truly are. So I want to share a ritual that came to me in my dream that I want to share with y'all, and it is a lion ritual, right? And basically, it's you getting a piece of paper, or you having your printer, or you using your phone, and whatever your dream or goal is, put a lion next to it. So if it's and it's going to be attached to a fear of yours, right? We all have different fears. We all have different things we think we're limited on. So if you think, you know, you have a fear where you're not going to make enough money, put that lion and put you next to that money, right? Use some clip art or draw it, right? Be creative, right? We got the internet, use Canva. I can't tell you step by step. You be creative and figure out how to put this collage together. But put that lion imagery there, right? And have it someplace that you see on a regular basis. so that you can reaffirm. And if you something you don't speak up enough, or you're not bold, have that lion growling at you. You know what I'm saying? Visualize that lion growling at you. Visualize that lion pushing you into starting this, or pushing you to express yourself, or you sitting on the lion and traveling to whatever destination you need to go. You need to escape a relationship that's abusive. Visualizing yourself with the boldness to do that, right? Because there's a lot of times we do things just for survival nowadays. You know, a lot of us are in relationships just for survival and in survival mode, and you don't have to be that way. Spirit is everything, and everything is spirit, right? The universe is mental. So that means that there's some timeline where you're winning, where you've escaped, where you're the bomb, where you have the riches, where you have the wealth, where you've eliminated most of your stress or all your stress. There's a timeline where your best self is there. But the thing is, you have to align with that timeline. You have to align to it. It's not just going to come to you because you lit a candle. It's not going to come to you just because you said a prayer and asked God for it. You have to, again, the heart. That's why this year is starting off with the full moon in Leo, because that's really going to be the theme to overcome karma, right? The first thing was Capricorn, new moon in Capricorn. So Saturn energy again, reaffirming this 8 year, reaffirming this build and destroy year. So now the full moon is in Leo. So it's like, okay, how can I deal with the ups and downs? Because it's an election year. Y'all already know how it is in the election years, right? Those of you who've been around long enough in life, where I don't have no kids following me, so you've seen elections, you know how it is. And now we got elections with deep fake videos now. We got these AI videos now. We got these bots, you know. I was you know, on threads, and I'm like, you know, these bots, the first thing they do is they throw some relationship shit at you, you know, some gender war shit at you to try to trigger you, you know. They try to, like, literally they try to trigger you. And I would say to you, start unfollowing these people. For real, for real. If they're gender warring all day and they're talking trash about men or talking trash about women, you want to attract love in your life. You want to attract, and even if it's not intimate relationships, you want the people that you surround yourself with to show you love. It's a beautiful thing when I wake up in the morning to go to the gym and somebody randomly just smiles at me. I'm like, okay, good. I'm you know, 6 in the morning, New York City. You know, you heard Scarlett. You know, we ain't smiling. We ain't saying good morning. We ain't happy. So
I
when
was gonna
those
say
things
you like that because I know at least
yeah,
from
nah,
when I
that's
was
cool.
in it, like yeah, I
Well,
was like, why are you smiling? What do you need? What are you trying to get? What scam are you on? What you want me to buy? What basketball team you want me to support? Like, yeah,
well, at 6 in the morning, you know, people ain't selling you shit. You know, that's the good thing about the morning.
well, that's
You know, I
good.
think it's pretty, yeah, it's pretty authentic. I mean, for me, it's like when I hear, hey brother, or how's it going, brother? I already know. The first thing I say, I don't have no money. You know what I'm saying? That's the only time I get called brother is when somebody wants some money. So as soon as I say, as soon as I hear brother, I don't got it, bro, and it shuts it right down. You know, literally, 99.9% of the time, that's what it is. You know, it's for some money. So that's how I look at it. But it's like, you know, and not just like smiles, because you know, as a woman, I get what you're saying. Like somebody, you know, it could be a guy or somebody trying to pester you or anything like that. But also, you know, even with that perspective, like you want to see yourself winning, you know, like I saw the what is it called? The Book of Clarence, right? Or whatever it's
What was
called, Book
that?
of Clarence. The Book of Clarence, I think it's called.
Hmm.
With and you know, everybody liked it, people liked it, people laughed or whatever. I didn't enjoy it. And I had to ask myself why I didn't enjoy it, you know? And I realized I'm tired of seeing black people lose. Even though it's like a Christ-like story, you know, I said I'm tired of seeing these visions where, you know, all the Romans are white, you know, all the people that follow Jesus are black, and you know, and I guess it's a reverse description, but it's like at the end, this motherfucker was still hung. You know what I'm saying? He was still put on a stake. He was still beat down. You know, he still died. He still lost. And we really got to start seeing ourselves win. Like all these conspiracies is really just about us losing. And people think that they're getting some sort of awareness, but it's just an awareness of you losing again. Why can't there
Mm.
be the vision of you winning? Even if the world was crumbling, even if comets were raining down right now? Are you in a high enough vibration that if you have unfortunately passed away, that you know you will go into a mentor, that you know you wouldn't be reincarnated back here on Earth? Because that's really the game. The game is to keep you trapped in this cube. The game is to keep you trapped in Saturn, in Satan, being sat in an urn and being coming
Mm.
back here again to do it over. Just like that video game, when you die, you hit a level and you can't pass that boss in that level, and you respawn and you come back again so you could beat that level and go to the next level, and you keep respawning and respawning. That's that. The goal is to not come back. All the Sumerian, the Kemetic, even if you go into deep Yoruba sciences, the goal is not to come back here again. The goal is not to reincarnate back here again. So we really got to understand that no matter what, like even in Leave the World Behind, when in that movie on Netflix, when the guy wasn't in the bunker, you know what I'm saying? The safest place was the bunker, and this guy whoever this was, built a whole bunker in their house. And when the shit hit the fan, they weren't there. So somebody else was able to take advantage of the bunker. So you don't know what the fuck is going to happen. Be prepared for whatever's going to be happen by maintaining a high vibration. And that's with your daily rituals. That's what these moon rituals about. That's what these going out in nature, grounding yourself, right? That's what, taking these spirit baths and things like that, tapping into these sciences, these spiritual sciences, what I call African spiritual technology, right? These different sciences that we learn about and that we read about to utilize so that we could have rituals that empower us and keep us winning, like having visuals of wins, wins, and wins. Fuck what the government's doing. Fuck what society's doing. Fuck what they are trying to do with us, or they are trying to manipulate that. Those days are over. What are you going to do? What type of energy are you putting out to the world? And what you put out, what you sow, you will reap. That is your karma. That is your karma. What you put out will correlate your consequences in life. Anything you got to say, Mel, before
Well
we
said.
get the fuck out of
Um,
here?
yeah, just to touch upon, not coming back. It's not enough to just say, "Oh, I'm not coming back."
Right.
You got to do the work. The only reason why you don't come back here is because you've learned all the lessons. You've mastered all of the lessons. You've graduated, not just because you want to. And again, it's not light work. It ain't easy work, but it is work that assures your ascension. So do it. And do it according to, you don't I think that one of the things that a lot of people think is, especially when you're sort of new on this journey, is like you feel like you got to do a million and one things. And the beauty of it is that the universe tells you what to do, when to do it. And you, like you said, you follow the moon cycles, you follow the astrology, you follow your intuition. Your intuition is not going to tell you, oh, work on a million and one things at once. It's going to say, oh, all right, so we've got a full moon in Leo. All right, we're working on our heart this time, or we're working on relationship issues, or we're working on our fear, right? And where we need to have more courage. And then you work on that. And then the next moon, maybe it may be about your solar plexus chakra, or maybe about your sacral chakra. Whatever it is, you work on it then. And before you know it, you've got all this work under your belt and you're ascending. I mean, the world's going to start to look very different to you, which is a good thing. But that's how you get it going. And that's how you maintain this level of work and this level of ascension. So I just wanted to add that.
Nature is to nurture, right? Nature nurtures
Right.
everything that exists, right? From the animals in the field, right? To the insects in the ground, to the plants that we eat is being nurtured. Everything in nature is designed to nurture. So what better to follow the cycle of nature, right? If you think about it, scientifically speaking, right? We see with instruments, right? And this is elite because I read this back in the day, but now on the internet they're saying 5%. So we're gonna go with 5%, right? But really it's less than 2%. But 5% of the universe with all the tools, the satellites, the observatories, everything, we only see 5% of the universe. The rest of it is invisible. We only see up to the ultraviolet spectrum, and there's light that we don't even see. There's colors that we can't even comprehend. There's different perspectives that we don't even know exist, right? different deities. You don't know right now. Really right now, as we're talking, there's thousands of ancestors behind you, right? That Christianity calls angels, right? But there's thousands of ancestors that have your back right now. You have microorganisms crawling over your body that you cannot see right now. So we come from the invisible into the visible. We come from source into solid, right? So what we really are is not this physical avatar. What we are is part of nature. So part of this work is to follow nature. And following nature allows you to listen to spirit, because spirit is always guiding nature, right? The bird's going to go fly south for the winter no matter what happens, right? No matter how dangerous they say it is on the news, right? They still going to fly south. You know what I'm saying? No matter how many chemtrails are in the clouds, they still going to fly south. You know what I'm saying? Squirrels in the spring is still going to pick nuts. It's just what it is. And in March, people going to get more erotically, uh, more want to hook up and link up sexually. It's just nature, right? This is part of the natural cycles of life. And when we go against nature, we really are going against ourselves. And we're really going against what's best for us. And this is really what all indigenous religions were about. Us tapping into our nature and us being as light as a feather in order to do so. Because the more shit we got that weighs us down, is the heavier and the more distant you will be from nature, and more importantly, your own nature, right? And that's what this world is designed to do. Keep you weighed down with bullshit, keep your focus, because they know what you focus on, you attract, and what you focus on expands, and what you focus on, you interact with. And they know that. They know this. This is why the Pope worships the Black Madonna and child. This is why they focus on that, because they understand the science of family. They understand the science of being as a child, not being childish, but being childlike, to be playful, to be happy, which is part of that heart energy too, right? To have that innocence. And as you said, Mel, this is not like a easy process. Don't think that just going to be, 1, 2, 3, because right now we live in a microwave society, so people think things are just going to happen. Voila. It's a lifelong journey, but if you follow these moon cycles, these solar cycles, right? If you follow nature and you tap into your nature, you will become, that's why the Egyptians have the Neteru, the natural, right? If you follow nature, you will never lose. You will always grow. And like you said, Mel, there's always a theme. Each month there's a theme. There's a different zodiac. And these cycles have been pinned on the walls. The Temple of Dendera, one of the first things they found was a zodiac on top of it, right? Because we all have different elements of the animal kingdom within us that we need to nurture, utilize, tame, develop, and utilize to our benefit. So I just wanted to share that with y'all. And yeah, last but not least, what is your heart's true song, right? What is it that you want to sing out to the world, or you want to share with the world? What type of music, what type of tune are you playing in your life? Is it a tune of sadness? Is it a tune of despair? Is it a tune of losing? Is it a tune of happiness? Is it a tune of joy? Is it a tune of power? Is it a tune of progress? Is it a tune of elevation? Only you could choose that tune. And that tune is your heart, your heartbeat. Your heartbeat is a tune. It is a frequency, but it is music, right? A heartbeat is music. It is a sound. And this needs to be cultivated on a day-to-day basis. And how you cultivate that is, as the great Christ JC said, is seeing thy neighbor as thyself, right? And again, following the light of truth, right? And we all know what truth is, and we all know what falsehood is. And what is your truth? So do the work. Really do the work. Tap into that lion ritual, right? And if you need to remix it in some way, remix it in some way that works for you, right? But put a lion in it. You know what I'm saying? We all got things we need to overcome. We all got habits that we need to move past. And we all have places and things we want to achieve. And we all want some money too. You know what I'm saying? Spirit world's going to give you money. I ain't going to lie to y'all. You know what I'm saying? 2023 was very prosperous for the god. You know what I'm saying? And it's only because I shed certain things and I tapped into certain things, right? So again, tap in. You will get what you need. You will get what you want. You will get what you deserve. And some of these things are what I've been talking about on my channel recently. They ain't getting a lot of hits because I ain't talking about the government or whatever, but I'm gonna still talk about it. Is these childhood traumas. Can't walk around with these childhood traumas and not face them and think that, oh, yeah, I'm gonna be super winning. No, you're gonna be masking. You're gonna be wearing Gucci and Louis and be depressed in the house, taking pretty pictures, right? And want to cry yourself to sleep. You know, you're gonna be have all these nice material things and be super depressed. Can't go out, can't be in public. You know, last couple of dates I had, I was like, I was dealing with women, super anxiety. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like 6'3", 250. What the fuck is gonna happen to you with me? You know what I'm saying? And I'm a former street nigga. I ain't shit gonna happen around me. You know what I'm saying? And I'm a gentleman at that. So ain't shit gonna happen around me. And I'm not saying that to stud, but like it's like I'm seeing these things and I had to say, okay, what the fuck? What do I have anxiety about that I'm attracting these motherfuckers? A and B, you know what I'm saying? For real. I was like, I look at myself, like last two people, like we in crowds and you just acting weird as fuck, you know? But I had to look at that myself in crowds and see, do I, you know, and I said, oh shit, there are times where I play small in crowds. You know what I'm saying? There's a time where I'm not as bold as I could be, you know? So I can't just blame them. I attracted them for some reason. You know what I'm saying? And we all got to do our work, you know? Beauty ain't enough. Being handsome ain't enough. Having money ain't enough. Flashing money ain't enough. You're just going to get used and abused out here by people that are vampiric and miserable just like you. You only attract what you are,
Right.
not what you want. Mel, let us know any last words and not
Energy
let
is
us know.
just gonna ramp up. No, I was just saying that that vampiric energy is just going to ramp up because people are about to get real desperate. The way that everything is
Mm-hmm.
shaping up, people who are not doing the work are going to want to latch on to the people that are. So apart from just doing the work, part of the work is protecting your energy and making sure that you stay spiritually clean, that you stay spiritually protected, because it's real in these streets and it's about to get even realer. So I just wanted to add that.
Yeah, Mel, I want to. Somebody had a question too. You might want to add on to this. Is there any significance to having your birthday fall on this full moon? I know you do the charts, master at the charts.
So having like your solar return coincide with the full moon, it's probably just going to be a lot more intense for you. Now, it definitely depends on where Leo is in your chart. But this is just going to be a birthday that will probably be a lot more enlightening than some others. It also depends on your natal moon phase. So, for instance, were you born under a full moon at the time, or were you born under a new moon? Like that kind of plays into it. But I think this particular full moon, if your birthday falls on this full moon, I feel like it's just going to be super enlightening. And do something that you love to do. Do something that you love, do something that's fun, that's lighthearted. You really want to tap into that Leo energy for your birthday. So act like a child, do something that you really want to do, be the main character of your life, play, have fun, right? And it's sort of easier because it's your birthday. But I feel like if you really tap into that Leo energy this year, it's going to set off the next year for you. So this is your personal new year. So we have the fiscal new year that starts in January. We have the natural new year that starts in March. But every time we have a solar return, it is our personal new year. And the fact that you have this full moon at Leo, it might mean certain things as the year progresses for you. If you're interested, you might want to consider getting a solar return reading so you know how this full moon is going to affect not just your birthday this year, but the entire 12 months until your next birthday, right? That'll be really pivotal to see how that would play out.
Yeah, Mel's a master at the reading. She gave me a reading. I still, look at it to this day, and there's still insight that
Aw.
I get from it. Yeah, so definitely tapping with her. If it's your birthday, get one of those solar return readings. It will give you a lot of insight, and you'll see some things that you haven't seen. But you definitely want to know your chart. You definitely want to look at your chart. See where things are in your chart. That's one of the basics. You want to learn your numerology as well. That's one of the basics. If you haven't, like, really, along with tapping into your inner child, like, learn about yourself, because a child, that's what a child is doing. During the whole childhood, you're learning about yourself. Well, you're supposed to, if you're in a positive household. A lot of us didn't grow up in these households where we could learn about ourselves because we dealt with trauma. You know, we dealt with heavy childhood trauma, which separates you from your inner child and puts you in survival mode. That's not really what childhood is about. Childhood is really supposed to be about you learning yourself and you developing yourself and tapped into your God or your purpose within. That's really what childhood is about. But we've had those things robbed from us. A lot of us growing up in these environments that we grew up in and have parents that grew up in certain environments, in the 60s, the 50s, and the 40s, or depending the 70s, even the 80s, depending how old you are, right? These environments where they didn't have social media and they didn't have all these tools and they didn't have videos and masters at their tips and they didn't know how to cope, so you have to also, forgive them and things like that, and I know that's tough for a lot of people, but really it's the hardest work you'll do is going to be the most beneficial. Again, it's like mining. Like, nobody wants to mine. Miners don't really want to mine. It's tough. It's hard work. It's dirty work. You ever seen a miner come out of the mine? They look like shit. You know what I'm saying? For lack of a better term, right? They look terrible. They black all over, dirty, sooty. But there's gold in that mine, so they gotta mine it. And there's jewels, there's gems, there's things that are beneficial. So part of the spiritual path is not just saying I'm spiritual and I'm magical and I'm mystical and having an ego bath every single day on how great you are, because you're gonna get slapped in 2024 with something. You know what I'm saying? I'm being slapped with something. You know what I'm saying? He's gonna be slapped with something, and spirit's gonna be like, okay, you want this spiritual power, right? You want to be this magician. How you going to handle it? And depending on how you handle it is what you'll be gifted, what gems or jewels you'll be gifted to move forward in life, because spirit's not going to give everybody, spirit world is very wise. They're not going to give everybody everything, because I said this in another video, the little bit of magic people have now, look at how they use it. You know what I'm saying? Look at how the world is run with a little bit of magic that people know. So there's certain things that are off limits to people. But the more you handle things, Leo, right? Christ-like energy, the heart, right? Christ-like energy. Jesus, picture of Jesus, one hand up, one hand, to the heart. That Christ-like energy is what's going to propel you to the next level in 2024. And if you could tap into that childlike space, activate that during this new moon in Leo, it'll set you up for this year and the next. So I totally concur. And with that being said, Mel, tell them where they can find you and your divine feminine works.
So you can find me at divinefeminineworks.com and on all social media platforms at Divine Feminine Works. I do astrology readings, I do tarot card readings, I do a lot of great stuff. So definitely check out the website and definitely check me out on Instagram.
Yeah, and you could tap in with me here on the channel. You can find me on Instagram. You can find me on Facebook. Facebook, I'm under Watson Rob. But everything else is Rob Blackstorm. I also started my TikTok channel, so you can follow me on TikTok, Rob_Blackstorm. And yeah, I've been doing like a lot of impromptu counseling and reading. So if you need a consultation, definitely tap in with me on any one of these platforms. And thank you, Mel, again for gracing the channel. I appreciate it
Thank you
so
for having
much.
me.
I am honored to have your presence here.
Likewise.
And with that being said, peace, power, and prosperity to everyone. Tap in and be great.
Peace, everyone.